Hi everypony, and welcome to another theory double feature. Today we're going to be talking about overblots. For our first theory, we'll be covering the Crowley's Overblotted theory that's been around since the early days of the fandom. Our second theory is one I thought of while drafting the script actually. Originally, I was going to talk about remaining under control during overblots, but as I was writing the conclusion paragraph for theory 1, I had a thought. What if Crowley was fused with a phantom? Like the Tweel double feature I did a few months ago, these are linked together, so I would suggest watching both, but I'm not your mom. If you want to skip around, I can't stop you. But I will say, I think my theory won't make a lot of sense unless you know the first theory. So, that being said, let's talk about it. Is Crowley overblotted? Let's start with the origins of this theory. I went digging and I'm pretty sure I've pinpointed it, but as per usual, if anyone knows an earlier instance of this theory, let me know. I went searching in English and Japanese and I couldn't find anything in Japanese, so I'm pretty sure this theory comes from the Kaigai side of the JP fandom, or the JP fandom has a very specific, tag for this that I just couldn't find. Both are, possible. But I'm fairly certain this theory started with Tumblr user Cafe de Easyroar, or Ezroar. I am so sorry, I probably should have asked them how they pronounce their name, but anyways. They're the first person I found that made this point and the only one I could find from that early on. They posted their theory on July 17th, 2020. I highly recommend you go give their original post a read and a re-bagel. It's a great theory and concept and also just a super fun read, 10 out of 10. This theory posits that Crowley is, quote, in a permanent state of overblot, and he's using magic to hide his overblot markings. Ezra points out that all the facial overblot markings are unique to each person, but they're all in the same general area. A mask could easily hide that, and Crowley's mask does indeed hide the places where overblot markings would be obvious. They speculate Crowley's using magic to suppress and hide the fact he's overblotted. From there, the theory has spread around the fandom and has been expanded and discussed by multiple other people, like I'm about to do. I know one thing a lot of people bring up in this theory is the entity in the dark mirror has what looks like overblot markings, so maybe that's Crowley's phantom encased in a mirror or something? So let's talk about evidence for this, and I'll also expand on the theory a bit. We know from book 7 that Crowley's mask has to be a magical one. Lilia's General's Armor artwork shows the mask coming off with magic. In the main story of book 7, when the characters are wearing those masks, their eyes appear black with glowing colored dots. Lilia looks like that, Bar looks like that, and that's how Crowley looks. We see characters wear normal masks in Glorious Masquerade, and it appears how you think it would. It's just something over their eyes with their skin and eyes visible. But magic masks don't do that. Or at least these kind don't. So Crowley's mask is magical, and it's possible it's magic to 1, prevent it from coming off accidentally, 2, to hide his overblot markings, and 3, potentially keep his condition under control. In one of his join exam lines, Vargas says no one's seen Crowley without his mask, which is a little suspicious. These men have been working with Crowley for at least 6 years, assuming Vargas started around the same time as Cruel. You're telling me that you're spending 10 hours a day, 5 days a week with this guy, and you've been doing it for 6 years. And you've never seen him without his mask. That's extremely suspicious. But if Crowley's hiding something extremely serious like an overblot, it would make sense why no one's seen it without his mask, not even the people he's spending the most time with. Also, the magical mask glowing dot color implies that Crowley's eyes are yellow. That's not important to the theory, I just think it's a fun fact. But in relation to his appearance, Crowley's eyes and lip color do look more akin to an overblot than just a person. It could potentially just be a Fae thing, since he's clearly Fae, but he looks awfully like other overblot characters in that regard. If Crowley was overblotted, it would explain why he doesn't want law enforcement of any kind on campus. Chances are a magic marshal might pick up on traces of an overblot, and he'll be found out. We know from Malleus that you can remain conscious and in control during an overblot. Malleus is clearly in control of himself when he overblots, and it's possible Crowley could too. He's the head mage in one of the most decorated arcane academies in the world. He's gotta be a pretty powerful dude, and it's in the realm of possibility that he could also control himself. And let's not forget Crowley seems to have some sort of desire for blot crystals. After Riddle overblots, he asks if anyone has seen a black stone. It's suspicious he doesn't call it what it is, but also that he's looking for one in general. Does he need one for blot research, like what a lot of people think he's doing? Does he need it for something else? It's weird he's evasive about what it is, and that he's looking for one. Overall, there's a lot of evidence to back up Crowley's magically hiding something, and the evidence seems to be pointing to him hiding his own overblot. So what's our evidence against? We can't dispute the fact Crowley's mask is magic because it clearly is. Everything else though does have a counterpoint, or rather, explanations. He could have a mask because he's hiding who he truly is. There's that whole theory that's come out, like, in the past, I don't know, a couple months about, him being, oh god, I'm so not used to saying Revern. I'm like, Levon. It's Levon to me. But I mean, there's that whole thing where people think he might be Revern and hiding his, like, true identity with the mask, so that's a thing. Yeah, but, like, we don't know for sure, but it's possible it's an identity thing and not an Overblot thing. Like, let's be real, sometimes normal masks aren't really good at hiding identity, but magic ones, those cover a lot more, and not to mention they're more secure than magicless ones. This could be the reason why no one's ever seen him without the mask. He's hiding his true identity. And like I touched on before, although Crowley does bear a resemblance to Overblotted characters, it could be that he just looks like that. A darker lip color like that isn't too far off from other non-Overblotted characters. While it does look similar, he could just be a goth. We don't know. Crowley might not want authorities on campus for other reasons outside of Overblots. He could be doing something illegal, just in general. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think it'd be extremely funny if Crowley's sus only because he's embezzling money from the school. We don't know for sure if his reasons are Overblot related or illegal stuff related. And in the same vein, it's a bit speculative to assume Crowley wants block crystals for Overblot purposes, although to be fair to that, like, we don't have anything but speculation, so yeah, I just want to make it clear I'm not, like, saying that in a way to, like, slam it. It's literally just, like, we don't know for sure. We're just guessing. But yeah, like, we have no idea what he wants the crystals for, nor what he could use them for. We just know that he wants one, and that's it. The average mage doesn't know a lot about overblotting, so would the students, 1, know what block crystals are, and 2, know what they look like by being told just the name? Crowley could just be trying to clean up toxic materials, and instead of going into a mini lecture of what block crystals are, he just says what he's looking for in layman's terms. Crowley's at least outwardly lazy and doesn't like the students, so why spend more time with them and do more work than's necessary? And for the most important piece of evidence against this theory, or at least the giant... Well, it's actually not like a piece of evidence, it's actually just more of a question. Where's Crowley's phantom? Now, I will admit here that there's a lot we don't know about phantoms. We know that the connection between an overblotted mage and their phantom needs to be severed to save the mage, but we don't know how much distance the two can put between each other. Like, can the mage just go, and the phantom just hangs back? Or are they constantly together and can't be separated? I know phantoms aren't in the live 2D models for the overblots, but I think that's a case of just not bothering to create another new thing. This may be a Disney-funded game and it makes like $4 million a month or something, but the game still has a budget and recycles backgrounds and only slightly changes them. Like, clearly, they will do the least when they can. And also, like, certain outfits are just copy-pasted onto other models, so to speak. So it's possible we don't have a Phantom Live 2D just because it's one more giant thing to do on top of everything else and it just isn't necessary. It could be that the Phantoms only show up during battles and they're invisible or in some soul jar or something until a fight happens. I don't know, but I'm leaning more towards the Phantoms are always there. The team just didn't want to make a whole new, like, live 2D model for the Phantoms, which honestly, big fair, not gonna lie, artwork and rigging for live 2D models takes a while. But if Crowley had a phantom around him, other people would comment on it. Not to mention, although he doesn't fight often, we do see him casting spells at certain points in the game and he has no phantom there. So where is it? Is it sealed off somewhere, like in the mirror, like people think? Or does he just not have a phantom because he's not overblotted? Oh, I probably should have said this, earlier. It said that, like, people are casting spells, like, through their phantoms, so that's why that's a thing. But anyway, like, where is it? Like, where is it, though? Truthfully, I'm a bit conflicted when it comes to this theory. I believe it, I do think he's hiding his own overblot, but I recognize a lot of the evidence I gave, and I think most people would give, is a bit speculative, and again, I'm not saying that to slam this theory. Like, I do believe in it, I'm not doing that at all, I'm just saying that it's like, we don't have a lot of, like, solid evidence for it. Like, for me, I think Crowley's hiding the fact he's overblotted, and, like, that explains why he's concealing his face, and just everything. I don't know, it's just something I feel in my bones. I also think people are onto something with the mirror having markings very much like overblot markings, although I don't know if he's necessarily related to Crowley or not. I also feel like we don't really have enough evidence to, like, say yes or no on that. But in addition to agreeing that a lot of points are a bit speculative, there's still so many questions around this and we just don't have any answers or information that can get us answers. There's loads of unanswered questions. Why is Crowley hiding his overblot? How long has he been like this? Is there some reason he refuses to get help? Where's his phantom? Most importantly, where's his phantom? From the opening of this video, you guys already know where I'm going with this. I think the reason Crowley doesn't have a phantom might be because he is one, at least partially. I think he was fused with one. Okay, so I recognize that's a giant claim to make, and I'll be the first to admit that a lot of it is speculation. But I ask that y'all walk with me on this one because I think I've made at least an okay meal with this one. It's edible at least. And also it's fun, so yippee! We know that magical fusions exist. Grimm is revealed to be a fusion of some animal, probably a cat and a dire beast in chapter 6. And the magic to accomplish this is ancient and according to Idia, would take forever to fully analyze and understand. But if animals and dire beasts can be fused, who's to say other fusions aren't possible? The magic is clearly there. It's complex and has been lost to time, but it's a thing. If Crowley were fused with a phantom, perhaps his own, it would explain how he could be overblotted but not have one. He does, it's just a part of him so no one sees it. And perhaps this is uncharitable to say, but it would explain why he allows Odysseus and Grimm to have a chance at redemption after breaking the chandelier. It wasn't because he wanted to give them a sliver of a chance, it's because he wanted them to do a little job for him. Phantoms need magic to survive. Let me ask you this. If a phantom was fused with someone, where would they get that magic? They would suck it out of the mage most likely. It's a magical parasite. However, what were to happen if that mage had something magical to give the phantom so their own magic doesn't get taken? I think phantoms can feed off of mage stones like I discussed in my contaminated mage stones theory, but mage stones can be hard to come by. Now, Crowley was absolutely ready to have Ace and Deuce expelled. When they come back, he said he'd already done the expulsion paperwork showing he didn't expect anything from this trip, so why send them in the first place? It's school property, and while it might have taken a while, couldn't the school board have gotten other people, maybe mining professionals, to go find a replacement stone? Why did Crowley tell Odysseus and Grimm to go look for one? Because he wanted them to do reconnaissance for him. He says the dwarves' mine is mostly completely dried up, but a mage stone for the chandelier might be there. By sending students there, they can either 1. Confirm that yes, there's no mage stones there at all, and he knows he'd have to find another source of mage stones to feed his phantom, or 2, no, there's still some mage stones in the abandoned mine where no one will ask questions of why he's there and why he needs mage stones. It's a win-win for him. He gets to sit at the school and have others do some work for him, and they think they're out there just trying to stay, enrolled at Night Riven College. It could also explain why he's interested in block crystals. Maybe he's trying to figure out how to remove his phantom and block crystals are needed for that research, or maybe phantoms can suck energy out of block crystals so it's another food source. I think Crowley being fused with a phantom would explain why he doesn't want authority figures on campus, obviously. He doesn't want people figuring out that he's overblotted. Kind of the same with everything. But then also, okay, they say no one returns from the Island of Woe, and let's be real here. While Idia says most people get released, if Crowley had been fused with a phantom and had extremely complex magic on him, Styx would never let him go. He would be a test subject for life. He's probably avoiding getting in prison for the rest of his life. It took a while for Styx to get even a basic reading and understanding of Grimm. Idia says it would take a much, much longer time to fully understand the spell put on him. Crowley would never be able to leave Styx. Crowley could be playing it safe and trying to minimize potential risks as much as possible. So, he doesn't want people snooping on campus because it could lead to people figuring out what he is. Again, this is really just a speculative idea on my part, but I don't know. I feel like it could potentially explain a lot of things, and also, I like horror. And being a mage fused with a magical parasite that's a concentration of all negative emotions is absolutely horrifying. But yeah, so that's the Crowley's Overblotted theory, and then me making the situation 10 times worse. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As a reminder, I have a suggestion box open, so if you have any, lore questions you'd like answered, or topics you want me to cover, head on over there. Link will be in the description. Thank you everyone for watching, and a very special thank you to my channel members and Twitch subs. Your support helps me to continue to make these videos. If you'd like early access to my videos, consider becoming a channel member. Patrons and Ko-fi members can get my scripts early before I record them. I livestream over on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Thanks again guys, and I'll see y'all later.